Welcome to a special monthly edition of Spirit Journey Collective, where we step away from interviews and dive deep into the collective energies of the upcoming month. For those who do not know, I am an intuitive tarot reader and spiritual channel. This episode will be focused on exploring the energies of the month ahead, such as themes, both good and challenging areas to be mindful of, as well as a channeled higher self message overall. As this is a collective reading, it is important to always remember to take what resonates and leave what doesn't. It is my belief that if you are tuning in today, it is because there is some form of guidance and wisdom waiting for you. But it doesn't mean the entire reading will resonate, although it may. My name is Sarah Tye, and I am your host, reader, and channeler for the upcoming reading ahead. And without further ado, let's dive in. Thank you for tuning in for another monthly collective reading. This is for the month of May, and I did the same spread that I've been doing. I'm going to be going over a theme. I'm going to be going over a positive aspect to be mindful of, as well as a more challenging aspect to be mindful of. And there's also a higher self message as well. And as always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. This may deeply resonate with you all the way through, or it may not, and maybe only bits and pieces. Either way, this is the message that is coming through for the collective, and I'll go ahead and dive right in. So starting with the theme is the Two of Swords. And the Two of Swords is all about learning how to reconnect with your own intuition and learn how to make big decisions or learn how to show up as yourself without needing approval or validation from others in your life. When the Two of Swords is present, I always know I'm speaking to someone who tends to really need that outside validation or approval or even permission to make certain big life decisions or to show up a certain way. And it's okay to ask for advice or feedback from others in your life, but it's not okay. And it's really, the invitation is to steer clear of this idea where you need to only make decisions based on other people's opinions and thoughts and feedback. So what you're really being invited into for the month of May, and really going forward, this isn't just only for the month of May, but definitely, likely speaking to someone who likely struggles with this as a whole, you're being invited to shift that. And what you're being invited into is how can you, yes, it's okay to ask for feedback and advice on certain things or how to show up. That's totally fine. But also thank everyone, pull away and be more with yourself and sit with yourself and feel into what feels good for you. And also knowing that it's okay to say no thank you to some advice and feedback that you received. Just because someone gave you advice does not mean you have to take it. It's just another perspective to consider. But ultimately, you're the person in this situation. You're the person living your own life, and your decision is going to impact really just you in this circumstance. So how can you listen more to yourself, to your inner compass, and go ahead and make decisions that are best for you, that feel right to you, without needing all of that approval or permission first. So moving on to a positive aspect of May, and again, energetically speaking, we have the Queen of Cups, which I really love. So a positive that is coming through is that you have taken the time to really get to know yourself on an emotional level, to really understand what you're needing, what you're looking for in the world, and also you're likely a natural empath. So that means people probably come up to you and share their life story and maybe get a little bit too TMI with you, probably pretty often. That just means that you are a natural empath. People feel safe with you. You have a very nurturing energy. And not only that, but whenever the Queen of Cups is present in a more positive aspect, it's saying that you have a good balance between taking care of you, so that way you can show up as that more nurturing and almost like mother-like energy where you're able to be there for others and guide others in a really gentle way. But first, you're able to do that for yourself. So I feel like the reason why this is coming up as a positive aspect is because emotionally speaking and empathically speaking, you do have good boundaries in place, and you do really consider yourself and your own feelings and emotional care. But I think when it comes to making big decisions that feels more like it's up here in the mind, that is where you tend to overthink and need that validation from others. So I think what's coming through is spirit, higher self is really trying to let you know, like, hey, what you do emotionally speaking when you're there for others and you're able to support them and you're able to also take care of you in the process, it's no different when it comes to making big life decisions or choosing to show up a certain way. It's really no different. You're just as capable of making big decisions as you are in your own personal life. And so I feel like that's the tie-in. Higher self is saying that you have that in place already, just in a different aspect of your life. And how can you bring that into your decision-making process where you know that you're more than capable of doing that? And then moving into a more challenging aspect for the month of May, we have the Page of Wands reversed. So I feel like this is where things could get wonky, where you're learning how to listen to your own intuition. You're learning how to thank others but not need their approval and permission to move forward. You have this emotional capacity that says, hey, I know how to take care of me and others at the same time, which is a beautiful balance. But I do feel like there is a part of you that still is allowing other aspects in your life to take control. And you're allowing things in that aren't really you. And I feel like that's a lot of that Two of Swords energy. When we feel like we need permission or approval from others, then let's say deep down we're like, oh my gosh, this is it. I need to make this decision. This feels good to me. But then when you go to announce it to the world, you have a bunch of pushback like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? That's not a good idea. Or that's, maybe try this instead. You might feel a little bit torn on like, well, it feels good to me, but everyone else in my life has a different opinion about it. So then you might feel more prone or drawn to making these decisions that are not for you, that are advice being put onto you. And so that's when we start to get out of alignment. That's where we're taking things on that doesn't feel good to us. It doesn't feel like us. It's energetically draining us, and we're doing less of what we really love. And so I feel like that is really what we're being invited to look into for the month of May. It's learning how to live more from an authentic place, a place of alignment that feels like us, that doesn't feel like we're being forced to take on anything else. And when we're able to do that, then this being out of alignment won't be an issue, because we're able to make discerning decisions for us that feels good to us. We know that emotionally speaking, we already can do that in our personal lives. There's no reason we can't do that in other areas of our life. And when we're able to do that, we will be living in alignment. We will be able to say no to things that don't feel good to us, to opportunities that don't feel good to us, and to rearrange our life to do more of what we love and less of what we don't. And of course, you know, we are adults living out in the world, so there is going to be pieces of us that are going to be needing to do things that are more of an obligation. But that said, that's just part of being human. But don't put so much of your energy into something that really drains you, that really isn't you, and only like 10% of what lights you up and you love. It needs to be reversed. And that's how you start to live in alignment. You start to live by your values, your belief systems. You're doing more of what you love and less of what you don't. And right now, I just get this feeling that there's a lot of pushback from people in your life that want you to do things a certain way. And you're just now starting to tap into this idea that maybe you can make your own decisions and you don't actually have to follow that old paradigm. And then your higher self message overall is the Ace of Swords reversed. So I feel like the higher self message overall is ultimately the biggest thing keeping you from making this shift where you're able to be more in alignment and choosing more for yourself is your mind, is the mind itself. And I think you're aware of that, which is really beautiful. So our mind can be our greatest ally or our greatest enemy, really depending on how we use it. And so I feel like there is a lot of fears and limiting beliefs around this idea of taking charge of our lives, of really choosing yourself and choosing what feels good to you and saying no thank you to those that are trying to push other ideas onto you. There's a lot of fears around that. But how can you shift your thinking to be more positive, to help uplift you instead of feeling like you're doing something wrong, and using it more in a way to see that actually choosing you is a very positive thing, is exactly what you need to be doing versus trying to do what everyone else is telling you that you should be doing. So I do feel like higher self is just saying watch your mind in this process and know that you matter. Your beliefs matter. Your values matter. Even if not everyone in your life is on board and agrees with you, your beliefs and vision and perception still matters. And I think that's ultimately what's coming through, is to trust yourself, trust your intuition, trust the fact that you know more than you think you do, and make those decisions that help align you in the way that you just feel more like you and more authentic, and that way you can live your life more from a place of alignment. Thank you so much for tuning in for this monthly episode, and I really hope that it resonates and gave you some guidance that you are needing. Are you in the need of guidance around love, career, family, life, or purpose? Embark on a spiritual journey inward with an intuitive tarot reading. Depending on what you're needing and looking for, I offer private one-on-one sessions as well as personalized email readings. It doesn't matter what the question is. A reading with me provides connection with your higher self, offering curated personal messages, or what I like to refer to as spiritual roadmaps, guiding you to the future outcome you desire. Readings are insightful and affordable. If you'd like more information or to schedule a reading with me, please see the link below. Thank you for joining me on another inspiring episode. Remember, your purpose is a unique and unfolding path. I hope these conversations have ignited a spark within you. Until next time, keep exploring, growing, and embracing the beautiful adventure of connecting with your purpose. Stay tuned for more meaningful conversations. If you're wanting more, consider joining our free Facebook community called Spirit Journey Collective, your haven for spiritual exploration and personal growth. Dive into a supportive community where sharing spiritual experiences is encouraged. Unlock the power of intuition, embark on a journey of self-discovery, and connect with like-minded souls. If this sounds like a community you'd love to plug into, the link is in the show notes below. If you enjoyed the episode today, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for joining me on this journey.